Atlanta's gossip world is on fire tonight after Jasmine dropped the kind of receipts that can end a marriage and light up every blog from The Shade Room to Hollywood Unlocked. For years, rumors have swirled about Kirk Frost sneaking behind. Rasheeda's back, but nobody ever had the proof that is, until Jasmine pulled out her phone and hit post. Screenshots of text messages, time-stamped, raw, and way too personal to be fake, are now flooding timelines, and fans can't believe the things Kirk allegedly wrote. Rasheeda, who has fought tooth and nail to keep her family together through cheating scandals and side baby drama, reportedly broke down the moment she saw the leaks. Tears, screaming, phones flying, the whole scene turned into a spectacle. But the real question isn't just what Kirk said in those messages. It's who he was saying them to. And what that means for Rasheeda now. The whisper started like, "Sparks on dry grass." It's a screenshot here, a blurred DM there, and then boom, the wildfire hit. Jasmine didn't just tease the receipts this time. She detonated them. In the middle of a Saturday night when Atlanta's nightlife was already buzzing, her Instagram Live went off like an alarm. Thousands tuned in instantly, and within minutes, the numbers doubled, tripled, exploding past 60,000 viewers. Everyone knew what they were waiting for. Jasmine leaned into the camera, her expression calm but eyes blazing with the confidence of someone who had been ignored for too long. "Y'all said I was lying," she whispered, her voice sweet and lethal. "Well, let's see if Kirk still want to play family man after this." And then she held up her phone. The texts, not just a few stray lines, but entire conversations. It's complete with Kirk's name, timestamps, and enough details to make even skeptics shut their mouths. At first, the crowd in the chat went wild with laughing emojis and comments like cap and fake receipts. But the second Kirk's signature slang appeared, the same phrases fans had heard him use for years on Love and Hip-Hop, the mood shifted. It was undeniable. The words were his. Messages about late-night meetups, money transfers, and keeping it low so she don't find out. The she, of course, being Rasheeda. The internet broke. Blogs screen-recorded instantly, blasting. Headlines like Jasmine finally leaks Kirk Frost's secret messages and Rasheeda humiliated again by Kirk's dirt. Within an hour, hashtag Kirk Frost and hashtag Rasheeda trended worldwide. Fans didn't just gossip, they dissected every syllable, analyzing the punctuation, comparing old clips of Kirk's speech patterns, matching them to the texts. But behind the screens, Rasheeda was unraveling. She had been at her boutique earlier that evening, smiling for customers, posting a casual support Black business story, trying to keep her brand unbothered. Then her phone lit up like a fireworks show. DM after DM, text after text, all saying the same thing. "Girl, check Jasmine's live." Rasheeda ignored it at first, rolling her eyes, thinking it was just more recycled drama. But when her assistant showed her the actual screen recording, her hands trembled, her voice cracked. The phone slipped from her fingers and clattered onto the boutique floor. People close to her said the breakdown wasn't quiet. Rasheeda sobbed, screamed, demanded answers to questions nobody in the room could answer. "Why'd he keep doing this? To me, after everything?" she cried. The boutique employees froze, unsure whether to comfort her or keep recording. Because in the world of love and hip-hop, every tear is currency. Meanwhile, Jasmine wasn't finished. She scrolled through the messages like she was turning the pages of a book she'd memorized. "This one right here," she said, zooming in on a text. "This is the one that broke me. I'll always make sure you good. Just don't run your mouth." She can never know. The chat went feral, thousands typing at once, fans demanding Kirk answer. Others clowning Rasheeda for playing loyal to a man who ain't loyal to her. But then came the twist. Jasmine didn't just drop old texts. She leaked fresh ones, timestamps from just last week. The messages weren't just from the past. They were still happening. One line in particular made jaws drop. "Meet me by the studio Wednesday, can't be at the crib." Too risky. That single sentence told fans everything they needed to know. Kirk wasn't done sneaking. He wasn't some reformed husband. He was still out here moving foul. And worse, he was sloppy enough to get caught again. Rasheeda's reaction turned darker by the hour. Sources close to her claimed she locked herself in her office, refusing to speak to Kirk, throwing her wedding ring across the room and even smashing a framed photo of their family. One insider whispered that she muttered over and over, "He's embarrassing me. He's embarrassing me on purpose." And still, Jasmine kept the show rolling. She wasn't crying. She wasn't apologizing. She wasn't even smug. She was calm, collected, and surgical, as if she'd been waiting years for this exact night. "I kept quiet for too long," she told her audience. "Every time I tried to speak, they painted me the villain. But tell me now, who's the liar?" The clip spread like wildfire, catching the attention of not just blogs but other Love and Hip Hop cast members. Young Jock dropped a cryptic, laughing emoji on Twitter. Bambi posted a single word on Instagram, karma, and let her followers do the rest. Even Mama D couldn't resist posting a crown emoji with the caption, "The palace always knows." Fans ate it up, turning the situation into memes, GIFs, and running commentary that turned the Frost family's implosion into global entertainment. But beneath the noise, one question burned. If Kirk was still texting Jasmine, what did that mean for the child at the center of their history? Had he been trying to rekindle more than just conversation? And if Rasheeda knew deep down, why had she stayed silent for so long? But the real kicker came at the very end of Jasmine's live, just as fans thought she was done. She leaned in closer to the camera, her smile faint but dangerous. "Y'all think this is all I got, baby? This was just part one. They keep calling me a liar, I'll show y'all the videos too." The screen went black, the live ended, and the world lost its mind. Back at the Frost house, Kirk finally walked. Through the door, his phone buzzing with missed calls, his face pale. He tried to act calm, tossing his keys onto the counter. But Rasheeda was waiting in the living room, mascara running down her face, her phone clutched in her hand. She didn't yell, she didn't cry. She just stared at him with an emptiness that cut deeper than words. And then, with a shaking voice, she asked, "Why do you keep humiliating me?" Kirk opened his mouth, searching for a lie, an excuse, anything that might soften the blow. But before he could answer, her phone buzzed again with a new notification. Another leak, another post from Jasmine. And this time it wasn't just text, it was something worse, the vibration of Rasheeda's phone echoed through the living room like a gunshot. She had barely finished asking Kirk why he kept humiliating her when the screen lit up again. Another notification from Jasmine's account. Another round of receipts. With trembling fingers, Rasheeda unlocked her phone, praying it was some repost. A recycled clip. Anything but fresh fire. But a WASN single quotes. This time, Jasmine didn't even bother with captions. She simply uploaded a video, 30 seconds long, that showed Kirk's name at the top of a FaceTime screen. His face wasn't visible, just his voice echoing through the muffled speaker. And that voice, low and careless, cut Rasheeda like glass. She ain't even paying attention right now. "I'll slide through later. Just keep it between us." Screams on social media were deafening. Comments flooded instantly. Not FaceTime, too. He caught himself slipping again. "Rasheeda girl, pack your bags." Within minutes, the video was reposted across every gossip page, blogs captioning it with ruthless glee. Kirk caught sneaking again. Jasmine just exposed him on video. Rasheeda's knees buckled. She sank onto the couch, clutching her phone like it was both the weapon and the wound. Tears streamed down her cheeks, her voice trembling with rage. "How could you? After all the chances I gave you?" Kirk tried to scramble, his words tripping over themselves. "Baby, that's edited. That ain't even me for real. She spliced it, you know how she do." He reached for her, but Rasheeda jerked away. her eyes blazing. Stop lying to me. Stop treating me like I'm stupid. Meanwhile, the internet had turned Rasheeda's heartbreak into a spectacle. Hashtags like hashtag RASHEEDA deserves better, hashtag Kirk exposed, and hashtag Jasmine1 trended worldwide. Fans dissected the FaceTime call frame by frame, comparing Kirk's voice patterns to old episodes, slowing down the audio to... Back in the Frost house, Rasheeda's phone buzzed nonstop, the weight of the world crashing into her chest. Friends were calling, family members were texting, bloggers were tagging her directly. She couldn't breathe. She stormed into the kitchen, slamming the phone down on the counter, her voice shaking but sharp. "You've embarrassed me for the last time." Kirk raised his hands in surrender. "Baby, listen." "No, you listen." Rasheeda cut him off, her voice raw. "You swore on our kids, on our family, that you were done with her. Now, she's got you on video, on texts, on everything. Do you even care what this does to me? To us? To the legacy we built?" Kirk stuttered, searching for words. "She set me up. She always trying to ruin us. You know her." Rasheeda's laugh was bitter, hollow. "Set you up. Nobody can set you up if you don't put yourself in the position, Kirk. You did this. Again." The silence between them was suffocating. Kirk's eyes darted around the room, desperate for an exit. But Rasheeda wasn't finished. Her phone buzzed again, another notification. This time, it wasn't Jasmine. It was from Mama D's account. Mama D had entered the chat. Her post was a video of her sipping tea dramatically, captioned, "The palace already knew." Frost family falling down. The internet lost its mind. Fans screamed that Mama D was adding gasoline to the fire, and within minutes, her post had over 200K views. Bambi chimed in next, posting a cryptic story. "Loyalty only matters if it's returned." Erica Dixon reposted Jasmine's live with 3 crying laughing emojis. Even Young Jock dropped a shady comment. "Atlanta, too small for secrets. Brr." Rasheeda's world was collapsing in real time, her peers turning her pain into entertainment. She grabbed her phone and, for the first time in hours, opened her own Instagram. Her face was red, tears streaking her cheeks, her voice cracking. As she went live, "I'm tired. I've tried to hold my family together for years. Y'all see me smiling, hustling, working, but y'all don't see the nights I cry myself to sleep. I gave that man everything, and this is how he repays me. A GAIN. I don't know how much more I can take." Tens of thousands tuned in instantly, flooding her comments with prayers, support, and messy speculation. Some begged her to leave Kirk. Others dragged her for staying this long. But as Rasheeda sobbed on camera, Jasmine posted one final dagger, a blurred screenshot with the caption, "If she leaves him, she better check the bank accounts first." Some things she don't even know about yet. The crowd went ballistic. Fraud, money laundering, hidden funds. Fans speculated wildly. Blogs spun theories that Kirk wasn't just cheating, he was hiding money behind Rasheeda's back, too. Rasheeda saw the post mid-live, her tears drying instantly, her face hardening with fury. "Oh, hell no," she muttered, ending the live abruptly. She turned to Kirk, her voice trembling with rage. "What else are you hiding from me?" Kirk tried to stammer an answer, but before he could speak, Rasheeda's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a post, it was a message. It's an anonymous account. And the words sent chills down her spine. "If you really want the truth, meet me tomorrow. I'll bring you everything Kirk's been hiding." Rasheeda stared at the anonymous message, her chest tightening. The boutique lights were still glowing in the distance, her wedding ring still lying cracked on the floor. And Kirk still fumbling for excuses behind her. But none of that mattered now. Those words, "If you really want the truth, meet me tomorrow. I'll bring you everything Kirk's been hiding," hit her harder than any leaked text could. She showed the phone to Kirk, her eyes filled with suspicion and exhaustion. "Who sent this? Who else knows about your secrets?" Kirk shook his head, feigning ignorance. Baby, anybody can make a fake account. That's Jasmine or one of her messy friends trying to stir it up. But Rasheeda wasn't convinced. She could feel it in her gut this wasn't Jasmine. The tone was different. The urgency felt real. And deep down, she knew that if someone was reaching out directly to her, they had something Kirk never wanted her to see. That night, Rasheeda barely slept. Her mind replayed the texts, the FaceTime call, the hotel room photo, and Jasmine's cold, confident smile as she promised videos. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her empire crumbling, her boutique turning into a punchline, her children's scrolling timelines filled with their father's betrayal. By morning, the decision was made. She was going to meet the anonymous. Source: the location was sent just after dawn, a quiet cafe on the edge of Atlanta, far from the paparazzi and reality TV cameras. Rasheeda arrived in oversized shades and a hoodie, her heart pounding as she scanned the tables. That's when she saw them, a slim figure in all black, hoodie pulled tight, phone face down on the table. "Rasheeda," the figure said softly. As she approached, "Who are you?" she demanded, sliding into the chair opposite. The hood slipped back and Rasheeda gasped. It wasn't some random blogger. It was Kirk's former business partner, someone she hadn't seen in years, a man named Rico, who had once handled the Frost family's promotional deals before suddenly vanishing from the picture. "I told you he was dirty," Rico said, his voice steady but edged with bitterness. "And now I got the proof." He slid a folder across the table. Rasheeda's hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were bank statements, contracts, and wire transfers, dozens of pages showing Kirk moving money through shell companies, some tied to the boutique, others tied to names Rasheeda had never seen before. Her eyes widened as she read line after line, deposits, withdrawals, and notes that made her stomach twist. "What is this?" she whispered. "This," Rico said, leaning forward, "is the other betrayal. Jasmine ain't lying about the texts, but that ain't the half of it. Kirk's been running money behind your back for years. Some of it tied to side projects, some tied to people you don't want to know about. And the worst part? He used your boutique as a cover. Those cash injections everyone thought were from sales. They were him washing money." Rasheeda's breath caught. Her boutique wasn't just her pride. It was her livelihood, her legacy. And now she was being told it had been tainted, dragged into fraud she had no idea about. "You lying?" she muttered, but her voice lacked conviction. Rico pulled out his phone, tapping on a video file. "You don't gotta take my word, watch this." On the screen, Kirk appeared in grainy footage, sitting in a dimly lit studio office. He was laughing with another man, stacks of cash on the table. "Rasheeda, don't ask questions as long as the store looked good," Kirk's voice drawled. "She think the boutique numbers legit. She don't need to know we running the side play." The video ended. Rasheeda's entire body went cold. Online, Jasmine's leaks were still trending. But now new whispers were surfacing, rumors that financial crimes investigators were circling the Frost Empire. Anonymous accounts were spreading hashtags like #FrostFraud and #BoutiqueScam, fans demanding Rasheeda answer for how much she really knew. Little did they know, Rasheeda was sitting face to face with the very man exposing the truth. "You need to leave him," Rico said bluntly. "Not for me, not for the internet, for you. If this comes out officially, they'll drag you into it too. You'll look complicit. And trust me, Kirk ain't gonna fall on his sword to save you." Rasheeda's tears burned as they fell. She thought of her kids, her brand, the years she had stood by him through humiliation after humiliation. And now she realized it wasn't just her heart he'd been playing with, it was her freedom, her future. "Why are you showing me this now?" she asked. Rico's eyes darkened. "Because Jasmine ain't the only one he played. He did me dirty too. Left me holding bags I didn't even know I was holding. If the feds come knocking, I ain't going down alone. Neither should you." Rasheeda closed the folder slowly, her hands trembling. She wanted to scream, to collapse, to throw the papers at Kirk's face and demand the truth. But she knew she had to play it smart. If she confronted him now, he'd deny it, twist it, maybe even bury more evidence before she could act. No, she had to wait, watch, and move carefully. That night, Rasheeda returned home. Her face calm, but her heart burning with rage. Kirk was pacing the living room, his phone buzzing nonstop with missed calls from producers, managers, and castmates, all demanding answers. He looked up at her, his eyes desperate. "Baby, I can explain everything." Rasheeda set the folder down on the counter, her voice low and icy. "I already got my explanation." Kirk blinked, confused, his face paling. "What you mean?" Before Rasheeda could answer, her phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't Jasmine, wasn't Rico. It wasn't even the blogs. It was a message. From an unknown number, one line that froze her in place. "You think Jasmine's your enemy? But the real woman Kirk's been texting ain't her. I can prove it." Rasheeda's hands shook as she read the message again and again, each word back one single word. "Who?" The reply came instantly. "Meet me midnight. Don't tell him." Rasheeda's heart raced, torn between fear and desperation. Every instinct told her it could be a trap, another setup to destroy her further. But her gut whispered louder. She had to know. She couldn't keep living in the fog, clinging to lies. If there was another woman, someone closer, someone she never suspected, she needed the truth. At 11:45, Rasheeda slipped out of the house. Kirk was still glued to his phone, arguing with producers about damage control, his voice rising in frustration. He didn't notice her grab her keys, didn't hear the door click shut, didn't see the storm brewing in her eyes. The anonymous address led her to an abandoned parking lot just outside Atlanta. The night was humid, heavy with tension, the hum of distant traffic buzzing like a warning. A black sedan pulled up moments later, headlights flashing twice before shutting off. The driver's door opened slowly, and out stepped a figure Rasheeda recognized instantly. It was Bambi. Rasheeda froze, her breath catching in her throat. "You?" she whispered. Bambi tugged down her hood, her face calm but serious. "Yeah, me. And before you go off, let me explain why I messaged you." Rasheeda's pulse hammered. Of all people, Bambi was the last she expected. They weren't enemies, but they weren't allies either. Their worlds overlapped in messy circles of drama, loyalty, and betrayal. But never had she imagined Bambi tied to Kirk in this way. "You telling me you're the one he's been texting?" Rasheeda demanded, her voice sharp with disbelief. Bambi shook her head quickly. "No, not me, but I know who. And Jasmine, she ain't the one either." She had some old receipts, sure, but the recent texts, the new stuff? That came from someone much closer to you. Someone you actually trust. Rasheeda's chest tightened. Closer. Bambi hesitated, pulling out her phone. She tapped the screen, scrolling through files until she found what she wanted. Then she held it up. Look, the screen showed a series of messages, not from Jasmine's account, but from another contact saved under a name Rasheeda knew all too well. The texts were intimate, secretive, filled with the same phrases Kirk used in the leaked receipts. And the name at the top of the screen made Rasheeda's stomach flip. It was her own friend, someone she had stood beside on red carpets, laughed with on set, confided in about her marriage. A fellow cast member, it was Sierra. Rasheeda stumbled back, shaking her head. No, that's fake. You're lying." Bambi's expression didn't change. "I wish I was. But I've seen them together. I've heard the calls. Jasmine dropped her bombs, but the real betrayal. Sierra. And she's been playing both sides, smiling in your face while texting your husband." Rasheeda's vision blurred with tears and rage. Sierra, the woman she considered a sister. The one she vented to when Kirk's scandals broke years ago. The one who swore she had Rasheeda's back. The thought of it made her skin crawl. Bambi's voice lowered, heavy with warning. "You gotta move careful, though." Jasmine leaking her stuff was messy. But Sierra? She's calculated. She's not going to crumble easy. If you confront her without proof, she'll spin it on you. That's why I'm showing you this first. So you know who the real snake is? Rasheeda's fists clenched, her nails digging into her palms. She wanted to scream, to call Sierra right then and there, to demand answers. But Bambi was right. If Sierra was bold enough to betray her in secret, she'd be bold enough to deny it, twist it, and make Rasheeda look crazy. The parking lot buzzed with silence, the truth sitting heavy between them. Finally, Rasheeda whispered, "Why are you telling me this? Why now?" Bambi sighed, her eyes tired. "Because I know what it feels like to be played, to be blindsided. I'm not doing this to be messy. I'm doing it because you deserve to know who's really stabbing you in the back." Rasheeda nodded slowly, her mind spinning. Her marriage was collapsing, her brand was under fire. And now one of her closest friends was exposed as the real woman behind the texts. The betrayal was deeper than she could have imagined. She turned to leave, but Bambi called out one last warning: "Don't trust nobody right now, not even the one smiling in your face. Jasmine might have embarrassed you, but Sierra is just the one who could destroy you completely." Rasheeda drove home in silence, her thoughts screaming louder. Then the engine. She replayed every conversation, every laugh, every hug she'd shared with Sierra, now tainted by suspicion. Her hands trembled as she pulled into the driveway, her eyes blazing with the crowd online lost its collective mind. Cheating was one thing, but fraud, money laundering. Kirk admitting on tape that he used Rasheeda's boutique as a cover while Sierra demanded a payoff. It was too much. Hashtags flipped from gossip. 2 accusations. Hashtag frost fraud. Hashtag Sierra snake. Hashtag shut down the boutique. Twitter threads spun wild theories about federal investigators tuning in right alongside fans. Rasheeda watched the clip in silence, her hands shaking, her face drained of color. She had feared betrayal, but this was betrayal with evidence. Her boutique, her livelihood, her pride reduced to a pawn in Kirk's dirty games. And Sierra, the woman she trusted, the woman she called friend, was sitting right there in the video negotiating her price. Her phone exploded with calls from producers, lawyers, even family members begging her to respond before the narrative swallowed her whole. But Rasheeda was too stunned to move. Kirk stormed into the room moments later, his face twisted with panic. "That video's fake. They edited it. Sierra set me up." "Set you up?" Rasheeda snapped, her voice trembling with rage. "Or did she just finally expose what you've been doing all along?" Kirk's mouth opened, but no words came out. The silence was damning. Meanwhile, Sierra broke her silence online. She went live, her face calm, her tone icy. "Everybody, wanna call me a snake, but let's get one thing straight. Kirk came to me. I didn't chase him. I didn't beg for nothing. He used me. He used Jasmine. He used everybody. I just made sure I had my insurance in case he tried to play me. And guess what? Now y'all see the real Kirk Frost." The internet went wild. Some fans dragged Sierra for betrayal. Others praised her for finally pulling the curtain back. But everyone agreed the Frost Empire was hanging by a thread. At the Frost house, Rasheeda finally broke. She hurled her phone across the room, tears streaming down her face. "I can't live like this anymore, Kirk. Every year, it's another lie, another woman, another scandal. You didn't just cheat on me, dragged my name into crimes I had nothing to do with." Kirk tried one last plea, his voice raw. "Baby, I swear I'll fix this. Don't let them tear us apart. Don't let Sierra win." But Rasheeda shook her head, her voice low and cold. "Sierra didn't win. You lost me." Before Kirk could respond, a knock thundered on the door. Not a neighbor, not a producer, not a friend. When Rasheeda opened it, 2 men in suits stood on the porch, badges flashing under the porch light. "Ma'am." One of them said calmly, "We need to ask you and your husband a few questions. It concerns your boutique finances." The world seemed to stop. Rasheeda's knees buckled, Kirk's face drained of all color, and just like that. The scandal that started with Jasmine's leaked texts had spiraled into something far darker: an official investigation. The screen of Rasheeda's phone lit up. One last time with a new notification. Breaking Fed's step. Into Frost family scandal. And that's where the Frost family stands tonight. Jasmine's leaks have set the internet on fire. Sierra's betrayal has shattered Rasheeda's trust, and now the feds are literally at their doorstep. What started as messy texts has turned into a full-blown scandal that threatens not just a marriage, but an empire. Fans are asking the same question over and over. Will Rasheeda finally walk away for good, or will Kirk somehow talk his way out of this nightmare one more time? And what happens if those federal receipts go public? Will the boutique survive? Will Rasheeda? Or is this the end of the Frost legacy as we know it? One thing is certain: this story is far from over, and the next chapter could be the most explosive yet. Stay tuned, because the receipts are still dropping.